What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the TLC podcast, where we sit down with elite athletes and professionals to break down the journey, the mindset, and what it really takes to compete at the highest level. As we always say here, when you train your mind, you change your game. Before we get started, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button down below. Truly helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials at the TLC podcast to stay up to date on upcoming guests and highlights. Now let's get into today's episode. Joining us today is one of England's rising stars in women's doubles and mixed doubles. She has been competing on the international circuit for several years, earning multiple strong results across BWF International Challenge and series events throughout Europe. During her time at the University of Nottingham, she made an immediate impact, winning gold in both women's doubles and mixed doubles at the 2022 European University Games, along with the silver medal in the team event. She carried that momentum into 2023, claiming back-to-back golds in the doubles and mixed doubles at the European Universities Championships and leading her university to team gold to cap off a remarkable run. She is also the current reigning 2026 English national champion in women's doubles, firmly establishing herself among the top players in the country. Welcome to the podcast, Sian Kelly.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We've been waiting to have you on. Thank you for giving us your time. I know it's extremely busy and your schedule's very packed, so we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I've heard good things.
Awesome. I'm glad we're reaching out to more of the English community. And, I do want to start in the beginning because you had quite a very unique start, right? You started very early, I believe around like 6 years old.
Yeah, so I was 6 years old. Me and my sister, we have the family where we got the opportunity to do as many sports as we can. My brother did the same. He had a lot of sports that he wanted to do, and my parents wanted us to try everything and then see which one that we enjoyed the most. And I kind of just went to one of my brother's training sessions. I'd quit gymnastics and my mum was like, well, if you want to go and watch Helen, my sister, go do gymnastics, then you can do that, or you can go watch your brother do badminton. And I started with just a little racket on the side of his session. And yeah, that's where it started. I absolutely loved it from there and didn't stop, really.
Wow, that's amazing. Starting at such a young age. And I do wonder, because in America, a lot of people, the majority of people, I would say, perceive badminton as this backyard barbecue sport. Is that the case in England as well? Or is it a little different?
Yeah, a little bit. We call it PE, like physical education at school. A lot of people, when they hear of badminton, say, oh yeah, I did that in year 9 in school when I was a kid, but that's as far as it goes. They only kind of see it as this tap, tap, tap sport. They don't see the high level that sort of you see on the world tour. So you can kind of get that misconception that it's kind of just a fun sport that people just have as a hobby, not as a career.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a very similar case in the US. I think it's a little more extreme for sure on our end. We're still building the foundation for the sport here, but I think it's a fast growing sport just across the world. And obviously, you went on to start playing and training at such a young age, but you actually tore your ACL, right, at 13 years old. Can you tell us what happened?
So I was competing in Denmark in the Danish Cup. I was there with the England team and I was just playing a singles match and I jumped out to the side and landed funny. I had this pretty sore knee. Didn't really know what I'd done, had a scan, found out that it was my ACL, but being so young, I didn't really know what that meant. It only kind of hit me when I saw my mum quite emotional in the room when I got the news. So it was sort of, a bit of a tricky one to manage because I just didn't know how long it was going to take me to recover, and it ended up taking about 11 months. And at such a young age, that can be a long time. When you're missing out on so many things, it's a way of seeing all your mates, isn't it? When you go to these tournaments and you're playing and you're training, I couldn't do any activity for ages. I had to have a surgery. So it was really tough. But at the end of the day, I think it helped me to realise what the sport demanded of your body. And I was in the gym. I got really, really strong in probably exercises that I wouldn't have done otherwise, or had such a big impact into my training schedule each week. And I've kind of kept that in my schedule now. I do a lot of gym now. And that might have been different had I have not done that at such a young age. It kind of opened my eyes a little bit to what the sport demands of you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a scary injury, right? And I do wonder when it happened to you, did you feel immediate pain? Like you knew something popped, or how did it feel?
I definitely felt something, but I kind of just went into shock, went sheet white, didn't really know what was going on, kind of just hopped off the court. And I didn't know what tearing your ACL meant at that age. I hadn't really heard of many people that had done it. especially in badminton. Obviously, I know it's quite a big injury in football and any other sport like that, but in badminton, it's not so much heard of. So yeah, I just didn't know what I'd done. I just knew that something bad had happened.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think ACL is quite rare, like compared to maybe like
Yeah.
Achilles even, right?
Yeah.
But it's a really serious injury. And at that young age, you being wheeled off to surgery, you must have been really freaked out, right?
Yeah, I was, and I'd never had anything like that happen before. I'd not really had many injuries before that. It was just a bit of a fluke. And yeah,
Right.
like you say, going through a surgery like that when you're so young is not something that you ever expect. So it was a bit eye-opening for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You talk about the recovery process, right? And we have like grown athletes, whether it's for badminton or even like in the NBA or wherever, go through these injuries and they have a very hard time recovering from them, right? Especially the rehab, the different exercise that you have to do to kind of build up your strength around your knee. So how did it feel going through that recovery process as a child and going through that pain?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you know about ACL rehab, but the first few weeks is literally just trying to move your leg, trying to
Right.
lift your leg off the floor. And it's really tedious. You have to ice your knee all the time. So that kind of regimen as such a young child, I had my mum nagging me and my dad nagging me like, ice your knee, do your exercises, because the first few weeks are the most important, just to get the movement back in the joint and a little bit of strength back. I mean, it was difficult. It just was. There's no two ways about it. It was a really tough mental battle every day, just making sure that I did the right things. Yeah, I mean, thankfully, I had really good people around me to help me do that with physio and rehab. So luckily, I've not had any injuries in my knee since, but
That's
we'll
awesome.
hope that it stays that way.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think that's amazing that you haven't had, any other injuries, right? And, you talk about the mental side of it, right? What do you think was the biggest mental hurdle during that time?
I think just the unknown. I didn't know anyone else who had done it. I didn't know who I could really speak to about it, except for the physios and the strength and conditioning coaches that I was working with. And being so young, I just wanted to be active, and I couldn't be. So it was trying to keep my mind occupied with anything else. And I was watching series. I was just doing anything that I could just to keep occupied. But yeah, the mental side of missing out on things and worrying that you're not going to be as good when you come back as you were before, that can be really tough.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least you got some time to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Take a little break.
Yeah, I was just annoying my
always
family, I
nice.
think. And I got to
Yeah,
miss 2 weeks of school.
Wow, that's nice, right?
Because I was on crutches and I was in a really big school, and it would have been impossible for me to move around and
Right.
get to my classes and stuff. So they give me 2 weeks off just to recover, and so that I could manage to walk and at least be on my crutches around the school. But yeah, I got
Oh,
2
wow.
weeks to just chill.
That's nice. That's nice. It's always great to have school off. And, eventually you come back to the court, right? After the injury. Did you ever have that fear of hurting it again? Like sometimes when you're stepping or lunging, you don't want to put all your weight into it?
Yeah, especially when I was doing the movement that I did it on. It was tough. I didn't necessarily want to do it, but my coaches at the time kind of forced me to, which I will thank them for now, because getting over that mental hurdle, like you say, probably is the hardest part of it. If you're worried that you're going to do it again, you probably are more likely to do it. So if you're playing with the freedom that you need to play, then you're probably in the best boat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, does it still affect you today?
Thankfully, no. I haven't had any issues with it since. That's in either knee, which is actually quite rare. Quite a lot of people do both or have niggling knee issues. But I mean, I guess I've just been lucky or worked really hard in the rehab, and I've thankfully not had any issues since.
I think it's mostly like props to your rehab, right? I think the rehab that you've done really worked because normally, whether it's the same pain in that knee or just like another pain on the other leg, right? That happens a lot because you're kind of, putting more pressure on the other leg to support yourself. But for you to have, zero pain, I think that's like incredible, right?
Yeah, I think being so young when I did it, I was almost naive to it all, and I just did the rehab and I just got things done and I just like moved on. Whereas I think when you're older, you just remember more and you understand what you've done a little bit more. So I think maybe my blessing was that I did it so young that I can't really remember the process anymore. So I can't worry so much about it because I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that definitely helped, being at that young age. But that describes a champion's mentality though, right? To just keep pushing forward. and despite all the setbacks and just get things done. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And eventually you make it to high school, right? And playing badminton. And you mentioned before in a previous interview that your high school is actually quite flexible, right? In supporting your badminton training. Can you share some of the ways they accommodated you?
Yeah, so I actually moved high schools. I'm originally from Leeds, which is in the north of England, but I actually moved when I was 15 to a place called Loughborough. They had a really, really good elite program within their university, and they invited me along to train alongside them. So I was then at a school called Loughborough High, and with me moving for the reason that I did, they were really, really flexible with allowing me to miss school, and sort of give me the materials that I needed whilst I was away to try and keep up with things as much as I could. And then I'd see the teachers when I got back to catch up, essentially. But they were really, really flexible with allowing me to leave as and when I could. I didn't need to go to registration on a morning because I could come in just straight away for first period, and I
see.
could then train in the morning. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had time to do that. So yeah, I think I've got a lot to thank them for in terms of those kind of really important years between junior and senior, like 14 to 18, when I was with them doing my exams and stuff. They were just really, really, really flexible, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do what I needed to do without that.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful. And you mentioned they have their own training program in that high school.
No, so in that town in Loughborough,
Oh, okay.
there's an adjacent university. So I was at the high school, and then they also had the university, which is for older students. So I would go and train with them on a morning or whenever I had free periods in school, and then in the evenings I would
I
train
see.
with them, yeah, and attend their gym sessions. But the school would allow me to do that perfectly fine, and they were sort of
Oh, okay.
speaking a lot with my coaches at the time just to make sure that everything would work out with my timetable, etc., just to make sure that I could do what I needed to do.
I see. Wow, that's amazing. And like, is the university training the same as a club or is that different?
I don't know how it works necessarily. In England, we don't really have a club system. We just have sort of training environments and training centres.
Hmm.
So everyone kind of works quite differently. But with the university, obviously the other people that were training there were also studying. So we often trained early in the morning and in the evening or over lunch. So it actually ended up working out quite well with the school timetable that I had, the different lectures that they had as university students.
I see. Yeah, I just feel like
Yes.
the university training is such a good resource, like for English players, right? Because
Yeah.
compared to what we have in the US, a lot of our training comes from clubs, right? And
Mm.
then usually when we talk about university training, it's like very bad coaching in the university. Like most
Yeah.
of the time, there's no coach in the university. Like for example, I went to UCLA, right? Like we had no
Mhm.
coach, right?
Oh,
When
wow.
you go to college, so it's just kind of you're just playing by yourself, and like you have some like previous players, like
Mm.
maybe seniors, they're kind of helping a little bit, but there's no coach guiding us, right?
Wow.
So I think that system in England is really nice, right? Where the universities can provide that resource, right,
Yeah, I
for
mean,
players.
a lot of English badminton players choose their uni dependent on the badminton.
Oh,
That's a big difference, I suppose. We've got a few top universities where they've got a really good training structure. So the town that I was in, Loughborough, and then I attended University of Nottingham, and then there's also a few other ones that they have a designated badminton coach and a designated training timetable. So a lot of the time, the top badminton athletes that are going to university will choose a specific uni dependent on the
oh,
trainings. Yeah. So that's
wow.
quite different to yours.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned players choose universities based on badminton. So which universities in England are like the top choices usually for badminton?
So University of Nottingham, Loughborough University, historically Birmingham, also
Oh,
Warwick, Derby. Yeah,
oh
a
wow.
lot of, yeah, there's a few, but
Is it
uh,
because of the coach or is it the training program?
I mean, for as long as I've known, those have been the top unis. I think the coaches that have been at them have been some of the best outside of the national team coaches. They've been the best, or some of them have even been involved in the national kind of setup as them
Oh,
players themselves in the past, or have been coaches for age groups, for example, for junior national team, and have chosen to take those jobs in the universities to help the structure there.
I
So there's
see.
like really specific, good quality training, and that attracts the players, I suppose.
Wow, I see. But before you went to high school, where did you train in your junior years then?
So when I was in Leeds up home, I trained with Brian and Jill Walwork. So I don't know if you know Jenny Walwork. She was a top player in the world in mixed doubles and women's doubles. So her parents were my first coaches. So I often trained with them whenever I could, really, while I was young and growing up. And yeah, then I moved to Loughborough when I was 15. So through my junior years, pretty much, they were my coaches.
I see. That makes sense. And so when you eventually, went to university, did these top schools for badminton, did they reach out for like a scholarship or anything like that for badminton?
There's usually an interest form that we would do, or we'd at least know the coaches at the time who were the head coaches, and we'd sort of reach out to them and see what the uni might be able to offer in terms of scholarship. But a lot of the time it depended on the application that you put in. The scholarship was separate to the course that you would be on. So you had to apply to the university for what course you wanted to be on. And then they would kind of flag you as a sporting athlete and then put you on some sort of scholarship program from there.
I see. Got it. We talk about how you went to university right after high school. Compared to Leona, who's one of your best friends, right? She went straight to professional, right, after high school. What do you think influenced that decision the most, choosing to go to university instead of professional?
At the time when I was making my decision, I had been invited to go full time, but at the time there was sort of this transition period in the national team where they weren't really sure where people might sit in the national team. And it ended up that I actually would get more out of it going to university and getting my degree and still being able to train what would be full-time hours whilst also getting my degree than it would be in the national team, just because there was a lot of uncertainty at the time when I was deciding. I think when Leona was deciding, it was obviously a few years later.
Right.
And I think it was quite an easy decision for her to make. But for me, my education was really important to me, and I wanted to make sure that I had options after I retire. I have a very education-driven family, and I think I wanted to make sure that, like I said, I had opportunities afterwards where when I do finish my career, I don't have to stop. I can just go straight into sort of applying for jobs and have that degree under my belt. And I knew that it wouldn't affect my training because I would have had such good quality training at the time, and I knew who was at the university. I could have really good strength and conditioning, physio, etc. for free and get my degree. So for me, it was a win-win scenario.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Because like one of the things is you picking to go to university, right? But do you think English players have like this sense that after they retire, maybe badminton won't be able to support them?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think we're under no illusion that badminton isn't necessarily the highest earning sport. And after we retire, you're no longer an athlete, you have to sort of fend for yourself in that way, whether you want to become a coach or you want to just completely stop being involved in badminton. People go their own ways. But yeah, once you stop, badminton isn't necessarily going to pay the bills anymore. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I had options. And yeah, that was one of the leading factors for me.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's why it made me surprised that people were choosing, to go directly professional for badminton, right? Because we have like similar fears, I guess, in America, where like we're afraid that we won't be able to live off of badminton if we try to do that professionally. But I do wonder, because you did major in finance, right, for university. So are you doing anything related to that right now?
No, not related to my degree at the moment. After I got the degree in finance, accounting and management, the next steps is to do the professional chartered accountancy exams. And to do them, you need a lot of time and dedication towards it. And if I was to do those now, it would be really hard with my training schedule and expensive. But so I haven't done anything with my degree for now, but I know that it's there when I do need it.
I see. Got it. Yeah, I think it's always good to have a backup, right? Mm-hmm. Just in case, especially for athletes, because you never know what might happen. And, you joined the University of Nottingham badminton team, right? They have this great program there. But what do you think they helped you the most as a player?
I think the way that I became a more rounded person I mean, when you're training and you've got your degree and your lectures to attend, and I was also working a part-time job, you learn time management, you learn a lot about yourself, you're fending for yourself, feeding yourself, doing everything. And, for me, that was a really important time for me to learn a lot about myself. And I feel like now I do manage my time a lot better than I might have if I just went straight into full-time training. I think enjoying my years at university were really important for me. Learned to love the sport and not just see it as a job. And like I said before, the scholarship, I was able to get really good strength and conditioning, really good physio, nutrition advice,
Right.
workshops all over the place that I might not necessarily have got if I was with the national team. And a lot of that was really dedicated time to myself and the other scholars in the badminton team. And I think that such independent and individual attention really helped me in those years while I was at uni and have helped me become the athlete that I am now.
Yeah, I think that's a huge difference, right? And when you're in university, you're doing both training and education. I
Yeah.
imagine that must impact your social life somewhat, right? It must restrict it to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at uni, I was sober for the majority of it. I wasn't, when you think of uni, you
Yeah,
think of people going out and partying and enjoying their
right.
time, and I couldn't do that. I was still training what would be full-time hours, and I was still competing on the circuit and doing everything that I needed to be an athlete. And yeah, you do miss out on a lot. Your friends are going out every Wednesday and just doing whatever and socializing. But if you've got training, you just have to miss that. And that's the sacrifice that I was willing to make. And yeah, it's got me to where I needed to be now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are not willing to make that sacrifice, right? And it also takes that discipline, right,
Yeah.
to be there. So it's definitely not an easy route to take. And the great thing is in 2022, right, you played the European University Games for the University of Nottingham.
Yeah.
And what was that experience like?
It was amazing. Like, you don't often get to go away with a team environment in an individual sport. And that was one of the biggest, earliest kind of team event successes that I've had. And it was just amazing to go away for that time with the team and be there with them and enjoy the process and do so well. It's a really big thing to do at university, to go and win a medal at the European Championships. So yeah, I was really proud to win those medals for the uni and for myself and my partners as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe for that year, you won gold for both mixed doubles and women's doubles, right?
Yeah, went back to back, which was amazing.
Yeah. But unfortunately, you guys lost in the finals for team event, right?
Yeah.
For that. So it must sting a little bit, right?
Yeah, it was tough, but it's okay.
What do you think contributed the most to that loss for the team event?
We played the team wrong, really. I think we had the team to win, but we didn't play the team necessarily correctly in the certain matches that we needed to, and we lost some rubbers that we didn't want to, and ultimately we lost that match.
Yeah, it's tough then, right? Especially if you know that you had this potential to win. But luckily you guys bounced back, right, in the 2023 European University Championships, which is slightly different from the games, right? I believe for the
Yeah.
games, it's like many sports, right, all together, almost like the Olympics or the Pan Am Games, right?
Yeah.
But the championship is just single, right? Just badminton.
Yeah, just badminton.
Yeah. So it's a little different, but very similar. And you guys won back-to-back, right? Gold for women's doubles and mixed doubles for you individually.
Yeah.
But this time you guys also won the team gold,
Yeah.
right? So how did it feel to finally win not only your mixed doubles and women's doubles, but also the team event?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, going back to back into events I had never done that before, and it was an amazing feeling. And yeah, winning that team event was really special as well. We played the team event first, so we had that gold under our belt, and then we went into the individual with a lot of confidence. And the year that I won, there was also a few other winners from my uni, so it was really special as well. Just coming back as a team, and we'd all done really well. Definitely made our coach proud, which was nice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you must be exhausted though, right? Like playing all the way to the finals for everything.
Yeah, there was a lot of games in not many days. But to be honest, like, when you do well in the European circuit, it can be the same. You can be playing 4 matches in a day in the European circuit. So luckily it was something that I was used to, but under that stress, and especially when you get to the later rounds and you know that there's medals on the line, mentally it's also really challenging. But I mean, the crowd wasn't big, but my team were really loud. supporting each other. And
Yeah.
it was really, really nice just to have that group there. And I got on so well with them all. And it's just a memory that I'll cherish for my career and looking back on as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that team event, the team bonding is really special, right?
Yeah.
And, I do wonder for you, which win means the most to you, the individual titles for that tournament or the team title?
I'm going to have to be selfish and say the individual. I mean, going back to back was just such a special feeling.
That's true.
And I was playing with really close friends. So that was so nice for me, just getting those wins and getting those medals with really, really close friends at the time. You can't beat that, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair, honestly. Like, it's a lot harder, too, to be honest. You're putting a lot more effort in those individual titles. But yeah, that's awesome. And, when you guys came back from the tournament, did the school throw like a celebration for you guys for that huge accomplishment?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of sports at the university, and obviously it was really recognised, and it was amazing for badminton. It's such a big uni that there's so many people that are doing really, really well.
I see. Yeah.
But I mean, the uni definitely, they supported us so well at the time, and we were really proud to win them, not only for ourselves but for our university. And we got congratulations that were deserved, which was nice.
No, that's awesome. And like winning for your university, that must feel amazing, right? But eventually you graduate and you get selected to the national team, right? How did you find out that you were selected?
So there was a few months after I graduated where I was still in Nottingham. I was just training and working there still. So that was until from summer through to January. And I started training sort of part-time with the national team in the October. But just before Christmas, I sort of got asked if I could come and live down there and train full-time with the national team. Just had a little conversation with the coach at the time on one of the days. And obviously it was a pretty easy answer for me. Going down there was something that I'd really wanted since I graduated. And being able to do that was really special for me and my family.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, did it feel very special to finally get that call and be like, hey, we want you down here?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was a turning point, definitely mentally for me. Being in the national team full time is something that I'd always wanted since being a kid. And it was the best opportunity for me to get the sparring and training that, wasn't necessarily accessible for everybody. And it's the best training that I could get in England. And, I kind of saw it as a big turning point for me. And luckily I've kicked on and I've really focused and knuckled down, and I am where I am now because I've been training there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you must have looked forward to like training with those top players from England, right? Like, because England got some really amazing players, right? In the very highly ranked in the world rankings.
Yeah.
And just to have the opportunity to be in the same facility as them, to watch how they do it, right? It must be super special.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're looking up to people who have been where you want to be, and they're setting the tone and the example for how you want to train and the requirements it's going to take to be the top in the world. And the only insight you're going to get into that is if you are in those training sessions around those people. So yeah, it was really, really important that I kind of made sure that I made the most of that once I was there.
Yeah, definitely. And, did you get chosen to the national team before you played for the European Mixed Team Championships, or did it kind of happen simultaneously?
Yeah, so I was already training there. So I played the team championships in the December. So I'd started training the January of that year full time.
I see.
Yeah, but to get selected for the team in a championship event, it's like a policy and a selection meeting sort of criteria situation. So you don't know whether you're going to be selected until the month before it happens.
Oh, wow. So that must have been really special, right? Just to be selected for the mixed team championships. So that means they really trust you to be on the court, right?
Yeah, and it made it even more special because it was in England. So it meant that I could have family there, which was really special for me. I mean, they don't get to see me live very often. They can watch the stream or whatever, but they don't get to see me live. And it meant that because it was in England, they could come and watch, and that was really special. I got my framed photo and
Oh, wow.
and my jersey on my parents' wall, which is really nice.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, definitely. And that at the time, that was your first like big major senior tournament, right? So what was the experience like? Like not only just being on the court, but also just being around your teammates, right, for this team event?
Yeah, we had a really good team that year. We were very supportive of each other. There was a lot going on. And I think everybody really kind of got behind each other and really supported each other on the court, which I think made the difference. And the team qualified for the next round, which was really special to be a part of, and to be able to actually get a point on the board, not just be on the court, get the win with my partner it made it even more special.
Yeah, definitely. I think the game that you're talking about is against Israel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very special game, and you guys were able to win 2 sets, so it was absolutely amazing, right? And your family was able to witness that. And we did ask Leona this, but I'm curious to hear your story on this. Do you have any like stories with teammates where maybe somebody helped you out or gave you a little advice during the championships?
Yes, Chloe Birch. She's from my county in Yorkshire, so she's a few years older than me, and I've always looked up to her in, she's been to the Olympics, she's gotten to one of the top positions in the world, and she's sort of, at that time, she really took me under her wing when I was just coming into the national centre, and I asked her so many questions, and even to this day, I'm so sorry I ask you so many questions, but yeah, she was really, really good to me, and she was there for me and really supported me through kind of that teething phase of becoming full-time. And she got me a little card just before my first cap, which was really, really special. I've still got it. But yeah, it's really nice to have somebody in the team like that who you can look up to in that way.
Yeah, definitely. You said your first cap? What is that?
My first time playing for the national team, senior national team.
Okay.
We call it caps.
Nice.
Like in football, I think you just call it a cap. I don't know.
I'm not too familiar with it, but sounds cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, having somebody to guide you like that, right?
Yeah. Especially being from where I'm from, I can relate to her in those ways. She saw me when I was younger, and I'd come into training to start training after her. I'd watch the end of her training, and there was other people, like, you won't know their names, but Sarah Milne and Natalie Chan Lam, who were really, really good at the time, all training at this really high level. And I was like 7 years old, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
So it was nice to actually be in the same team as her now.
Yeah, it's definitely like a full circle moment, right? For you to be amongst these amazing players. And shout out to Chloe for, helping you out, answering the questions. But yeah, I mean, props to you too for, having the courage and the humility to ask questions and to learn more, right? And be like a sponge from these players and soak things up. But yeah, obviously, they taught you a lot of great things because you went on to do amazing things. And in 2025, you played your first World Championships, right? That's a huge, huge tournament, big stage. How did that compare to previous international competitions?
It's nothing like it. The closest that it came to was I played my first European Championships in the April of that year. I mean, playing on the World Championship stage is something that I've always dreamed of, and being able to qualify for that and, out of right, be there and play, it was really special. And it's definitely something that I'll always remember and no one can take away.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very special tournament, right? Like the best in the world are there. You see these amazing athletes, but which person have you met on these like major tournament stages that, you were just fangirling, like, okay, I want to go talk to them. I need to go take a picture.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not very good I'm quite introverted.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to social situations. So I'm not very good at like going up to people and, fangirling. But I do watch a lot. And, when I was watching the later rounds of the World Championships and seeing the level of the players that were there, it's like, it's just insane being around them and playing in the same competition.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's inspiring, right? To see these players right in front of your eyes and know that you're sharing the stage with them. I think it's just an encouragement just to watch that, right? Yeah. And talking about like playing the World Championships, playing for the national team, I believe when we talked to Leo, she mentioned that the national team covers like your travel expenses, right, for these tournaments. But I believe you can't just choose any tournament that you want to play, right, if that's the case.
Yeah.
You have to go through some guidelines that, pick these tournaments.
Yeah, so the way that it works for most of us is they give us like a travel grant or a budget for the year, basically. And you just want to stretch that as far as you can. They'll give you a guideline of sort of what tournaments they want you to play and which tournaments they'll be sending coaches to, for example. But to some extent, it is up to them what we play. And as soon as your budget's spent, you cover the rest. So for me, I'm still working part-time to cover those extra costs that I need to cover in order to play the competitions that I want and need to play to get the results and improve my ranking. But yeah, it's not all gifted to us, unfortunately. But they are really generous and do give us a lot of support, not just financially, but the training, the physio, the strength and conditioning is all given to us for being in the national team, which helps massively.
I see. Yeah, that's what I kind of expect too, right? Because they can't just have endless money coming out to players.
No.
And so does that mean right now, like the funding that they're providing isn't covering like the entire expense for like all the tournaments that you're playing?
Yeah, it doesn't cover everything. We know that all championship events, so like Europeans, World Tour, Team Championships, they're definitely funded. But in terms of just international circuit competitions, as soon as you've spent the budget that they've given you, the rest is on you to fund.
I see. And right now, are you mostly coaching for income, or are you also doing other things too?
So I coach 2 nights a week, and then I also have a part-time administration job, actually also for Badminton England. So I help organising sort of junior competitions and events and camps and stuff, which massively helps to covering costs and rent and bills and all the things we need, you know.
Yeah, definitely. That's wonderful. I mean, to still be in the badminton community, right, and doing those events. But hey, we love, promoting player coaches on the podcast. So if anybody from England, is watching and is looking for a coach, we got the national champion here who's coaching 2 days a week. So make sure you guys reach out to Sean to get some lessons in. But yeah, talking about the national team, who do you think you are the closest to on the national team?
I would have said Leona, but she's left now. But I'm really close to my doubles partner, Lisa, and also Abby, one of the other doubles girls. But to be fair, at the moment, we've got a really good group who we all just get on really well. There's no one who, has any arguments with anyone at the moment, which is really nice. But yeah, it's nice to have people around you that you're close with that you can get on with, not just on court, but also off.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like national team, there's always that like team dynamic where there's things going on inside the team. Cause like I know like some stories, from like the China national team just because my mom was part of it. But, I expect, probably national team always has some sort of thing going on inside. But hey, that's the fun in it too, right?
Yeah.
Being in that dynamic. And,
well,
we talk about
competitors, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, eventually everybody's competing for that one spot on the podium, right? So it makes sense for everybody to have their own intentions, right? They're trying to be better, right, than certain people on the team.
Yeah.
But, that's part of the game. It's competition, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all quite good in the English national team of keeping the competitive side on the court. As soon as we're off the court, we're not continuing those Barneys, the arguments or anything that's happened in training. We try and keep it in training, which I think is quite important to keep a good environment and a healthy environment within training. We're not afraid to be competitive at all, but we're also not trying to be rude and anything like that.
Of course.
We're trying to keep some friends around here as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the end, you're spending the most time with them, right? With your teammates, like literally every single day you're seeing them. So there's no point in, making things sour. And it's always good to keep things lighthearted and keep moving forward, right? Because everybody just wants the best for themselves, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, we talked about you winning the national champion, right? In 2026 recently, a few months ago. But, before we get to this year's national, I do want to talk about the last few, attempts, we can say, that you had at the national title, right? In 2024, you played a match in the quarterfinals for mixed doubles. I went to 30-28, where you guys won. That match is insane. When I heard the score, I was like, that is insane, right? The amount of pressure every single point after 20 and to get to that point, right? So how did you feel during that match?
Yeah, there's not been many times when I've gone that far into a game. Thankfully, it wasn't a third set, and we did win in 2, but it was 30-28, and it was very, very stressful. I was very grateful to have been on the winning side of that. I'd have been gutted if we lost.
Yeah, I mean, how did you feel when the score was going back and forth? Like, were there some shots where like, oh, I could have finished this?
Not even. Like, the rallies were just really good. Like, the people deserve to win the points that they won. But yeah, when you're trying to serve and it's 20-something, I mean, the pressure's a lot higher. And yeah, every shot, you're just trying to be that much better. And it's not an experience I'd like to go through many times in my career, I will say. But yeah, it's definitely something to remember.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you were at 29-28, like that feeling must be really setting. If it got to 29 all, I think it would be a whole different game.
Yeah. I'd have been
Right.
praying I wasn't serving.
Did anybody make a service mistake during the last stretch?
I can't remember. I'm not sure. I hope not.
But I imagine
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the pressure is really high.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when the pressure is high, sometimes you kind of get into that zone and all your serves are going through. Maybe not perfect, but it's going over, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And in that year, that was the year that you were the closest to getting the title, right? You won a silver medal in women's doubles and the bronze, right, in mixed doubles when you guys made it to semis. But now you are the national champion. Right? You finally claimed your title, right? How does it feel to be the best women's doubles player in the country?
It's amazing. I mean, when we were going into the competition, me and Lisa, we've only been playing together since May. The pair that we ended up playing in the final, they're our teammates, and we've trained against them a lot. And in a match like that, you've got no idea how it's going to go. So we hoped for the best, and we started off really strong in the match, and we were really, really good at keeping that lead and holding our own and, keeping to the game style that we wanted to. And it was a really tough game mentally and physically, but we were really proud to come out on top. And I think when we won that last point, we were both kind of in disbelief. We'd just done that, people had said to us at the start of the tournament, oh, we think you've got this. We think you've got a chance at winning this. And we're like not sure, we're playing against a pair that are really kind of settled in their partnership. They've been playing together for a while and they know each other really well and they know us really well because we train together every day. And in those stressful situations, we were kind of like, F this, let's show what we're made of and hope for the best. And, on the day we came out on top, which was really special. And it's something that I'll always cherish and remember for a long, long time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys came out swinging, right?
Yeah.
And I do wonder the night before the finals, or I think was the semis and finals on the same day?
Yeah.
It was, right? So on the day of the finals, I'm sure you guys had a brainstorming session before the match, right? So what was the strategy going into it?
I can't give that away. No, we actually wanted to focus on ourselves. We feel like as a pair, we play best when we're kind of in our own flow state and we're focusing on our own strengths rather than, really trying to play a certain type of way. We obviously had a few tactics that we wanted to implement. And on the day we did do that really well. But yeah, we wanted to focus on ourselves, make sure that we weren't making those silly errors that could get people back into a game. And we wanted to make sure that we were doing really well in first three and getting into our rotations really well and just focusing on ourselves, controlling what we could in a very stressful environment. And we did that really well.
Yeah, that's great. And that's a perfect mindset to have, right? And go into such an important game. And of course, whatever tactic that you guys came up with, it obviously worked, right? Because you guys ended up winning the game. But I do wonder, before the finals, right? Going into the quarters and semis, did you guys feel the pressure like, oh, we're getting closer and closer?
Yeah. And in the semi-final, I also played against my old partner. She's retired now, but she's still really good. So in a situation like that, it was also really stressful because in a game like that, technically we were the favourites, but anything can happen in any tournament, especially nationals. It's such a high intensity environment and it's a tournament that happens once a year, and to have an opportunity to get to the final, I mean, yeah, we were both stressed for sure, but we managed to handle it well enough that we got that chance to be in that final and compete for the title.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you're the one that expected to win, the pressure is even worse than being the underdog.
Well, that's the thing. Like in the nationals, we don't actually play that many times in England and against other English pairs. And for them, it's a great opportunity to play against the national team. And so we have that pressure on us of, oh, we shouldn't lose these games. We have to win and we have to show that, we have every right to be on the national team, because the level generally in England, there's a lot of players who can really compete well. And you want to make sure that, showing that you have that experience from internationals that can help you in those close games and you're beating the people you're supposed to beat and then you're fighting it out against your teammates.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Like during the English nationals, that is the chance for players to be recognized, right? Like if you take down an English national team player, right, you're going to get recognized. Yeah, and the national team most likely will also reach out after that too, right? Like, hey, do you guys want to come train?
Yeah, I'm not
on
sure
the
how it
team.
works, but yeah, I mean, I think the Nationals is always an important weekend in the calendar and everybody looks forward to it. And I think the national team players get pretty stressed.
Yeah, definitely. And I tell players this all the time too, like especially players that are just coming up, right, and trying to get a foothold in the competition. Like when you're playing against somebody who's stronger or better, let's just say, or like the best mindset going in is to know that they're actually sometimes more nervous than you,
Yeah.
especially playing like a supposedly weaker player, right?
Yeah. I
Because they're
mean,
not supposed to lose,
yeah,
right?
especially in the women's doubles, we played against some of the young up and coming players.
Yeah,
We
those are the
played against,
worst. The up
yeah,
and
we
comings
played
are the
against
worst.
like under 15 European champions and as
Yeah,
such. Like they're good players, and we need to show that there's another level to be up where we are, and it can be
yeah.
really really good exposure for those players. And we have that stress of we know that they're up and coming, we know that they're good badminton players. We just have to believe in ourselves that we're better.
Yeah. You got to let them know it's not their time yet. Slow
Not
down.
yet. Not
Yeah,
yet.
not yet. Too
You're
early,
doing
too
you're
early.
doing great.
Yeah, yeah. But stay down, stay down. Yeah. No, that's great. And that's the nature of competition, right? And, eventually you guys won the national champion and celebrating, I'm sure, with your family. But whenever you do like any kind of sports career, right? Whether it be badminton, basketball, whatever it is, it's a whole commitment, not just from the player, but also from your family, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like for your family to finally realize like, oh, she's the national champion now?
It was really, really special. I mean, both my parents were in the crowd on the day. And I know my brother and sister were watching the stream and they called me and it was just amazing. I mean, to have the support system that I've had throughout my career, I think has been one of the things that has really set me apart. I think, in a sport, when you get to the elite level, it's really demanding. And I think sometimes you need that support system there when things are really good and when things are really tough. You can
Yeah.
rely on them to be there for you, to support you. And even if that's just, a pat on the back and I hope you're okay, or some financial support from your family. I know for me personally, that's been really one of the things that they've been amazing at, is really supporting me when I've needed it. To have them there on the day, it was just so special. Taking the photos with them with the trophy and stuff. It's just, yeah, I'll always cherish that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think those moments with family is always very special, right?
Yeah, I watched the last point so many times, and you can see them both in the back, like in the crowd, and yeah, they actually do the same celebration. They're not sat together, but they do the exact same celebration, like stand up and two fists up. Yeah, it was quite emotional on the day, which is just a consolation of a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication from them since I was 6 to get to that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned there's a last point like video, because I was looking for the finals match, but I couldn't find it. I don't think it's public, right?
It is, but it's on Badminton England's website and it's quite hard to find.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've got to dig it up later and take a look at it. But yeah, that's super special, right? And, I feel like being an athlete is almost like a crash course on life. Like there's so
Yeah.
many more ups and downs all bundled together within like a few years.
Yeah.
And, having the people around you to support you, I think is super important. So yeah, recently in December, right, I believe you went to the WBLC, which is the Women's Badminton League Collective, right? I believe.
Yes, there's two separate. So the Women's Badminton Collective organised the Women's Badminton League. So the
Right.
collective is the overall, and then the league was part of that. So it was a 3-day event in the weekend before Christmas.
Right. Because I've been seeing the WBC, the Women's Badminton Collective, on social media a lot, right? And they're creating, this big storm, right, around women in badminton, right? Which I think is super amazing and super special, because I think women deserve the recognition, right, on the stage. And I did see that you are also one of the ambassadors for WBC. So what does that entail, being an ambassador?
We just try our best to sort of share what content that they post and try and bring another level of streaming and platform to them, and hopefully help them to build the business that they have. Like you said, it's such an amazing kind of movement, and what they're doing hasn't really been done before, and I think it's really important that women are recognized for what we do. The league was a massive part of that, and that's probably what you're seeing a lot of is the content from that weekend. And as a player playing that, it was such a good experience. You hear of all these people that you see the name, the face, but you don't know them. And it was really nice to sort of actually make friendships with these girls and have a really nice weekend where we could just show what we as girls were made of and show women in badminton on a higher platform.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's props to the founders, right, for WBC for creating this movement. And I think it's extremely special. Talking about the league, right? Not only do you guys get to play tournaments, I imagine you guys also have some like organized social events that you guys were able to hang out and get to know each other.
Yeah, we did like these organized dances and stuff in the morning, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, we had organized dinner on the Saturday night, and we after that we played card games and this new dice game that I'd never heard of called Mai. But it was just a lot of fun, making friendships with these girls and experiencing kind of a new kind of event. And props to the people who organized the event. It was amazing to be a part of, and hopefully that happens again next year, and I'll happily play it again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope more and more players go join, right? I think it's super exciting. And, you mentioned how you guys play games, right, after dinner. So I do wonder, who is the best at the games and who is the worst?
So one of the worst players, but it was the best to watch, was Leah Palermo. All she did, like, if you haven't heard of the game, it's going to be hard to explain, but like, you basically roll dice and you show only yourself what you've rolled, and you can either tell the truth or lie. And every time didn't matter what she rolled, she would say, I have a pair of fives. And it's just the way that she said it was just the best. And she had everybody in stitches. But you didn't know whether she was telling the truth, whether she was lying. It was just the best. But yeah, who was
so
the
she
best?
Must be the best player, or she's the worst player?
Well, yeah, this is the thing. It's like she probably won, but we were playing. She was on a different game than me, but I hope she won because she deserved it with the amount. She was just making everyone around her laugh. But I won the game that I played.
Oh, wow.
I have never been luckier in my life. You can ask Kira Torrance, Julie McPherson, honestly. At a word, I was playing with them, and I've never rolled so many perfect scores in my life than in that game that night. And I don't think I'll ever be able to do it again.
That's amazing. So would you say you're probably the best player then, rolling all those perfect scores?
Technically, yes. I won my game, but I have no idea really how I did it.
Nah, that's the nature of the game. It's all part of the game.
I'll take it,
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that, you guys are able to have that social event and get to know each other. I think that's super important, right? Fun. Not just playing each other on the court all the time.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. And like the way that it was set up as well, we had 3v3, which is always just fun, isn't it? Whenever you play, technically it was a point on the board for the team who won the match, but we were all diving around everywhere and just having a good time, which was, it was really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, what the WBL like builds, not only is it like a women's movement, but it just builds the passion for badminton, right? Because a lot of time I feel like that starts getting dismissed, right, on the world tour when everybody's so serious all the time, everybody fighting for gold, right? But having this fun event for badminton, right, also ignites that passion for the sport and, just the fun to it, right? Because in the end, the sport is a game, right? And it's important that, everybody enjoys it, right? Playing it in different styles.
Exactly. And I think all the girls who were part of that weekend will all say the same, that they really, really enjoyed it. And if it was to happen again, they'd, happily sign themselves back up again. It was just a lot of fun. And like you say, it instilled that sort of realization that it's what we do every day, but we do actually enjoy playing and it can be fun. And, there was a lot of young girls there in the crowd and stuff that were getting involved, and we got a lot of them to come and support our team on our bench and stuff. And it was just little things like that, it's just nice little touches to a really good weekend.
Wow, that's very sweet to have the young girls come in and sit with you guys, because I think it's super encouraging to them and very inspiring, right? Yeah. Like how you said you watched, Chloe training when you were young. I think those tiny little things make such a big impact to the sport. that, more than people realize. So I think it's super amazing what they're doing with WBC, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. Amazing. As we're wrapping the episode up, we do want to get into some fun questions, right, about you so everybody can learn more about you. So let's get into it. All right. Okay, here we go. So what is your favorite food or your go-to food after tournaments?
Oh, I love Asian food, ramen, pho, anything like that. Sushi is like my guilty pleasure. I absolutely love it. I'll go to that any day.
Wow, no wonder you get along so well with Leona. You guys probably go out to these Asian...
we do. Whenever we go for like a day out, we definitely go and get Vietnamese food and Vietnamese coffee. It's so good.
Does England have good Asian food?
And yeah, it does, to be fair. Especially if you go to London, you've got Chinatown. Yeah, there's so much to choose from.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, when you guys come to LA for 2028, I'll definitely show you guys around some nice places. If you guys like Korean food, oh my God, the K-Town in LA is amazing. So
I might be in California for the US Open.
Oh,
maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, where is US Open this year?
Apparently it's in California.
Well, then it's either NorCal or SoCal, which I think it probably is going to be NorCal in the Bay
I'm not
Area.
sure. Yeah, maybe.
Well, if it's in LA, I'll, show you guys around K-Town. And we got good Korean food, Thai food, what else? Vietnamese food, more in OC. But yeah, we got a lot of options here. So
Sounds good.
That'd be really fun. But yeah, next one. So what is your favorite thing to do off court?
To be fair, in the last year or so, I've really got into reading. Actually, Leona started me off on that as well.
Yeah, she said the same thing.
Yes, she always, because she honestly reads an odd amount of books per year, but she always has good recommendations for me, so I always try and take the best ones and read those. But yeah, it's a good way of me kind of switching off and just decompressing.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any recommendations for our viewers?
Oh God. Say You Swear, that's a good one. I've just read that one. The Housemaid series, that's been made into a film as well. That's really good. You should read that because the ending is different as well than the film.
Oh, really? Have you watched the film?
Yeah.
I did too, like a week ago, I think. It was a really good film.
It is a good film. It is a good film. But yeah, the ending is slightly different. I won't give it up.
Yeah, we gotta read it to find out. Awesome. Great recommendations. Favorite country that you visited?
Ooh, Australia. I went actually to watch the Women's Football World Cup in 2023 with my family, and we stayed in Sydney area. And honestly, Bondi Beach for a sunset or sunrise, beautiful. Highly recommend.
I heard the beaches are really nice in Australia.
I mean, just the way that they live their life is so outdoors and active, and I don't blame them. Like, the weather is just amazing. If you wanted to go on a run at 6 a.m., the beach is full of people doing the same.
Wow.
It's just incredible.
That's amazing. Well, I would like to challenge as a fellow Californian that California will be a lot better. I'm just saying, weather-wise, can't be California, but...
I mean, anything's better than England with the rain, so I'll take it. I'll visit and I'll travel and I'll take the sun when I can get it.
Yeah, it does get a little rainy on your guys' end.
Yeah.
But great. All right, next one. What is the most memorable win?
Probably Nationals final.
Yeah.
For sure. Just for the experience that it was and the title that it is. It's just something that I've always dreamed of and is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the biggest accomplishment so far, right, for you. So I think it's definitely very significant. What is your dream tournament to win?
Well, it's got to be All England.
Oh, really? Over World Championships and Olympics?
Oh, yeah, okay. If we're talking circuit, I'll go All England, but Olympics for sure would be the outlier of that championship.
Yeah, I understand. Like, All England would be very special. Given that it's on home ground, for sure.
Yeah.
I think for all English players, the All England is quite prestigious. Like, if you were able to win that, I think just representing your country, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely, sometimes it might be even more special than the World Championships. You never know, right?
But the Olympics, that's
Olympics
the pinnacle.
Next level.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle.
Definitely. Great. Okay, next one. One thing that fans don't know about you.
Oh, I'm a twin. Maybe they do know that, but I'm a twin. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've got a twin sister. We're identical.
Oh, really?
We used to play doubles together.
Wow. So she stopped, though?
She stopped around 15, 16. Then she went into football. She was really good at football. So she picked the team.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to wear like the same outfit and everything. And we used to look really, really similar. We used to obviously be difficult for our opponents.
Yeah, playing twins is the worst because like you guys look exactly the same, and then you don't know who you're hitting to, and it gets very confusing. And oftentimes they sometimes wear just like different hairband, and then like you can't even see it because it's in the back of their head, So it's definitely very frustrating for the opponent.
To be fair, there was a few differences with us, and I think those who knew us quite well could tell us apart quite easily. But I mean, when you're playing and it's in your peripheral, it's a different story.
Yeah, definitely. But does that mean you have like that special twin connection with your sister?
Yeah, we're really, really close. To be fair, me and my brother and sister were all really close. We've got a brother who's 3 years older. But yeah, being a twin is a whole different type of relationship, and our brother's really protective of us as well, and my parents got lucky. We didn't really argue that much as kids, but yeah, having a twin it's a different kind of relationship, and she's my best mate.
Yeah, definitely. I can't imagine. I mean, I feel like everybody who I've talked to who has that relationship is like, they always say it's very special, right? Okay, great. Next one. What is your pre-match superstition?
When I'm putting my shoes on, I make sure that the laces don't have any twists in them. It's really niche. Like, when you're tying your shoes and I don't know, like when a lace is kind of like bent over itself, I just make sure that all of them are like nicely, neatly in line.
Does that just make you feel better?
Yeah, it's like an OCD thing. I don't have OCD, but like I've always done it, like since I can remember, like make sure that my shoes are on perfect so they're not going to annoy me on my feet, and then I'm good to go. Nice.
Yeah, I feel like every player has like a little thing, because like we spoke to Neil from Canada, and he has like this 6-knot tie that he does for his shoes. It's insane. Yeah. He showed us how to do it on the podcast.
Oh gosh.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like every player, as long as you're an athlete, you have some sort of like thing that you do before a match.
Yeah. I feel like even my teammates won't know about my laces because I just do it. Like I just on a morning, just get it done. Just tie them like normal, but make sure that they're like perfect. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are just certain things that makes you feel comfortable, right?
Yeah,
pretty much. Those little things matter, trust me, when it comes to performance.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, last question for the fun questions. If you could play with one player for women's doubles, who would it be?
Ooh, I would love to play with Pearly Tan. I think she's just really cool. The way she plays is just so versatile and stylish, and she's really strong. And yeah, I think I'd have a lot of fun playing with her.
Yeah, I think you guys would complement each other pretty well with your playing styles, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Awesome. But yeah, as we're wrapping up the episode, we do want to talk a little bit about the future, right? Because the future is so bright for you. And what do you have planned short-term wise for the rest of this year?
So I have Poland International next week. And then after that, I have Europeans in April, European Championships. And then after the summer, we're not sure yet, but hopefully US, Canada, and then maybe World Championships if we can qualify. But yeah, mainly gearing up for the Europeans, which we've qualified for, which is going to be really, really good. It's going to be mine and Lisa's first time there together. And Lisa's first as a doubles player. So.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's super exciting, right? To have those planned. And we can't wait for you guys to come to US. Hopefully you guys come to LA, or maybe I'll go up for the Bay Area and then we'll hang out. I'll show you guys around the place. It's better than Spokane, wherever Leona went for World Juniors.
Oh, yeah. She said that it was just far away from everything.
Yeah, it sucks. So it's a good thing you guys get to come to California. And yeah, we'll show you guys around when you guys get here. But that's amazing. But long-term wise, which tournament are you looking most forward to?
I mean, the Olympics is not so far away. I'm going to be doing everything that I can to qualify for that. That's going to be really important for me. And hopefully in that comes the World Championships in August. That will be a big milestone to try and go back to back in competing at the World Championships.
Yeah, for sure. I think these major tournaments are definitely on the bucket list, right? Coming up. And, future is bright, right? So, and you're constantly growing, just looking at your past achievements, right? You're making these steps towards the right direction. So I'm sure you're going to do amazing. But yeah, that is the end of the podcast for today. Thank you so much, Sian, for giving us your time and coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Much appreciated.
Of course, our pleasure. And but yeah, that is the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys click the like button and the subscribe button down below if you guys enjoyed today's episode. And make sure to follow us on our socials at the TLZ Podcast to stay up to date on upcoming guests and highlights. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.